Mike just asked me to give you a few comments. First Bank has been involved with remodels of country clubs similar to size of the ranch all over the metro area. We've done the last probably 4 or 5 remodels that you guys are aware of in the market. And the map and what they're looking at is very similar to what all these other clubs are looking at. Had some probably flat growth in their club membership. Some had some declines, but the reality of it is they all suffer from some of these similar issues. Additionally, they also had a couple of them weathered the storm through 2008, 2009, 2010 while they were doing remodels or total scrapes of their buildings, and also fare well afterwards. All beat their projections from what they gave us, and we're being bankers, we're pretty conservative, so we looked at these numbers and we feel with the $5.5 to $6 million that's being proposed, the math would work. It doesn't take a dramatic change in the membership to make the math work, at least the debt service to make sense. My experience with the ranch has been, I grew up in this area. I'm 50 years plus in Adams County market and lived up here forever. And so is my family. Wonderful club, great reputation. Hard to understand why the club hasn't been successful over the last few years. We've got cash flow, everything looks great, but it all does kind of boil down to, in a sense, just a general feeling for the market that there isn't really, that the club isn't as private as it should be, or should feel as private as it is. Comments I get from customers all the time are, why aren't you a member of the ranch? And Mike's asked me a couple of times, why aren't you a member of the ranch? Why doesn't the company get a member of the ranch? And the issue really boils down to, there's a lot of golf up here. We play a lot of golf right around the ranch. There's 15 really good golf courses within 15, 20 miles of here, from Longmont down to mid-Denver. You can play a lot of good golf, you take a lot of customers to a lot of places. I would like to be a member of the ranch. At one point when I was going to think about joining the ranch, there was some upheaval as far as membership and talking about what the club was going to do. That scared us off. Corporate membership, sure, we could pay $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 to play golf here. But if you're going to do that, you do want to have a facility that caters to your customer base. And I'm not sure that this club actually has that distinction. So we haven't done that as a company. I like the golf course. I've played it many times. I've been invited several times to play here. I've played tournaments here, supported it in a number of nonprofits. Love the golf course. I think it's a great course. So from that perspective, I don't think it's an issue whether or not the course itself is an issue. I think it's more of an issue of what's the functionality of the clubhouse. And when they came to us and looked at this, we were like, hey, I'm excited about it. So personally, I got behind it. More important, I think, from just a financial perspective, it's not that hard. Banking's not that hard. This loan's not that hard. The issue does stem around, do you guys think you can get some new members, and you think that the membership here will support it? Without it, then the math is hard, because you can't really draw a conclusion that things will just flatline or stay the same. That hasn't happened anywhere else in the marketplaces as the clubhouses have started to age, and as the membership starts to age. It just doesn't happen. It slowly spins down. And those clubs that have stopped it have done great. Pinehurst was a classic example. One Hills is a classic example. Gosh, Lakewood scraped completely. Their building started over, and they didn't have a place to have a beer for a year. So those people made some pretty big commitments. Every one of those has done well. So those are some of the issues that we looked at when we were looking at this deal. We feel like this is very viable. We feel like the math works. We feel like the debt service works. It's just a question of whether or not this membership is going to get behind it. Without it, it's kind of a proposition we would not want to take on. So without a strong vote, typically those memberships go to 65 plus, even 70 plus in some cases, to scrape buildings and do big renovations, spend $8, $9 million bucks to do those things. That gives the bank confidence that the membership's going to be there to pay the bills and do the things they need to do to make it successful. So from our perspective, as long as this membership can get behind that, we feel like it's a very viable